about
Hang on,
your
hang on.
investigation?
Hang on. It's slipping down. Is that all right? Does that work?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
So I'm Jamie, and I am. Oh, the dog's coming. I'm Jamie, Paranormal Torch, and I've been doing ghost hunting, paranormal investigation since about 2003.
So you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, like yourself, you've been doing it a while.
Oh, I've been doing it almost as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, I only wanted this casual. I'd done this a few years, 5 or 6 years back in a previous group I owned, and I'd done it as blog interviews and all sorts of things. As you know, I've had a bit of a heart scare. I'm meant to be recuperating. I don't watch TV at all, and I'm going stir crazy. So I thought I'd get back to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So if I can take you right back to the very beginning, which you said what was 2003?
Yeah, something like that.
What actually made you decide to join the field? Like, why did you decide? Oh, did you just wake up one day and go, you know what, I'm gonna start hunting ghosts?
No, I actually started probably when did Ghostwatch come on the TV?
Oh Christ, that was back with Michael Parkinson and that.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's got to have been about 1984 or 85.
90, 92, 93.
94,
Yeah.
95.
Yeah, you was close. That's one decade. Yeah, then it was then. I it scared the bejesus out of me.
It
But
scared a lot of people, yeah.
I know, and I was only young then, about 11, 12. And what happened was, I sort of, after you sort of think about it, don't you? And but then also, do you remember Michael Aspel? Was it did Strange but True?
Yes, it did. Yeah, for a while.
Yeah. So there was that, and then there was also like the X-Files was on TV, and of course we'd already had.
I could never ever get into the X-Files.
Yeah. Well, we had also like obviously by that point in the 80s, Ghostbusters have been out as well, and I think it just sort of started to come together. So I followed after my mum. My mum absolutely loves the paranormal, and she's never done anything like this. I think she's been like mediums and that when she was younger and that. So I sort of took after her really, and watching horror movies, and that's where it started really.
Say mate Dominic's just joined to watch. Hi Dominic.
Hello Dominic. Yeah. So that's when that
that's
was.
How you started from that. I think you can now actually find that Ghost Watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm actually tempted to watch that again because it was a long time ago and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
But the way they done it did start out seeming really realistic. Towards the end, it got stupid.
It killed Sarah Green's career.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
But I actually know a bit of a story there because of the work I do. My main job I do over the years, I've come to meet people, and one of the person that I know happened to be friends with Stephen Volk, the writer of Ghostwatch. Yeah. So it's quite I spoke to him briefly, and it's definitely one of those that everyone knows, and when everyone mentions it, they know what it is, don't they?
So your first outing, shall we say, into the paranormal, what was that?
When I was my job normally is to do with now I write music and stuff, but I do audio and sound design and stuff like that as well. And back in 2003, I started looking at someone I knew through one of these tour companies, Paranormal Tours. They had an EVP they wanted me to look at.
Yeah.
So I started looking into EVPs, cleaning them up, see what we can find. And I've got this thing, like if it's in the Matrix, they can see all of the. I'm like that with waveforms. I can look at a waveform and tell you what and where. I've worked with audio so much, and I can actually tell how, like, the size of the room based on the reverbs. Whenever I'm investigating, it's like the video that's just come out. I'm always aware of acoustics and certain things, you know, to try and, you know, debunk stuff. Obviously, I know that word's quite popular at the minute.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know if you've noticed yourself, but it just seems since AI is becoming more popular, there is just so much bullshit out there now.
so yeah, so
especially on TikTok.
that's it. So when that was 2003, and so I was doing that for a little while, and then Andrew, back then there was Fright Nights and Paranormal Tours. They were the two companies that were doing all of the events. They had some links with like Most Haunted and stuff like that. But Andrew said, "Why don't you start coming on some of the ghost hunts with us?"
Yeah.
And so I did. And from that, I started doing events. And I did that up to about 2008. But I always wanted to do my own stuff. Because a paranormal event is not... It's good for people that have never done investigating. But I never recommend them for people that have been doing it for a while.
Hate them.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah. So it's good when you get the people that might want to do... Oh, should we go on a ghost hunt? Yeah, okay then. But they've never done it before. Okay, go through one of these companies. Yeah. But as proper investigators, where we've been doing it for, well, we even proper investigators really, because years ago, proper investigators would go in with all of they'd set up cameras and reel-to-reel recorders and everything. Yeah. But it's shifted a lot in the last decade or so. But back to that, events are good, but I went on to do my own investigating. And back then, though, 2003, I think I mentioned to you earlier, when we were setting up this interview, about something called the Web Haunting Archives. And that was...
Yeah, I think I'll have to check this.
Google it.
Yeah.
Google it, and you'll see that started in 2004. Or YouTube it.
Yeah.
2004, 2005, very early days of YouTube. And I always think, blimey, if I carry that on now, where would that be? Because suddenly now you've got all of the Ouija brothers, they're good and all that, and then you've got the other ones, the Americans, Sam Colgan, come along. Yeah, and you know,
nowadays it's ridiculous the amount of time. I find because you can go on Amazon and buy like a K2 for 15 quid, you know, everyone goes out, orders a K2, it comes over the next day. Oh, I'm the biggest ghost hunter in the world. I've had people. I've honestly known people that have only been to like one or two investigations, trying to tell me they know 100% more than what I know.
It's frustrating.
I've been doing this. I've been doing it. My first investigation, as I said to you in a message, there was a girl that I liked when I was 10 years old. We went into an old gunning shelter because I wanted to kiss. My mate turned up, so obviously couldn't do nothing. So we started telling each other ghost stories. We heard a noise, and being 10 years old, it freaked you out. We talked about a ghost, so there's a ghost there.
Yeah.
And that's what I grew up in a spiritualist family. Yeah. I've been seeing things since about the age of 2 or 3 years old. Yeah. When I was 3, I was a page boy at my aunt's wedding in the old 1970s sailor page boy outfit. 11 of us kids, where the hall was, there was a little woodland, little copse of woods that was down a slight hill. There was 11 of us that were down there playing tag, and out of the 11, 9 of us saw a figure. The only way I can even now describe it is the child catcher from Chit, Bang Bang.
Oh,
he looked like him walking through the woods, and he just disappeared into an oak tree, and we just all run screaming.
Wow.
So, and there was 11 of us, and 9 of us saw it.
That's the thing. That's what happens, isn't it? It's something that back then you probably didn't realise at first, and then it's like, you know, and then when it happens, you're not exactly going looking for it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I've just put your link up. Actually, you might get a few people.
I appreciate that. You were saying about the way it was then in 2003. So like 21 years ago now.
Yeah.
It surprises you when you look back at how far long ago it was. Compared to then and now, do you think it's more of a hindrance now than it was back then?
Yes.
I know I know you had crappy programs like Most Haunted and that dreadful bloody Zach Baggins and crap
Yeah.
like that out nowadays.
See, they were good, but I mean, we can't. I actually liked the first few series of Most Haunted, very good. I mean, they paved the way. Whatever anyone says, if it wasn't for Most Haunted, we wouldn't know about half these locations around the UK.
Yeah.
And
In fact,
you know, their history.
I
Yeah.
was about to say that. I was about to say that. Even though the whole show was fake, and there's multiple video clips out there that you can find of Yvette Fielding off screen saying about how fake it all was. If they hadn't brought that to the mainstream, people like me and you would have gone, "Oh, you're a fucking freak. You believe in ghosts." Because I remember back in the day, people literally laughing at me when I said, "Oh, I've seen a ghost." I remember being in the younger years, like early teens, actually being beaten up as a freak for saying I'd seen a ghost in a haunted location.
See, I'm actually, they all laugh. I always say this, I'm like a tape recorder of this. I'm as psychic as a brick. But over the years, in 21 years or so, there's been a handful of times when I've experienced something, but we don't know what it is. It can't be explained logically, you know, or scientifically. Certain things have happened. Only a handful of times, though. And the thing is, but I don't disrespect people like yourself or anyone. I know mediums like Stuart, who I used in the latest video, and it's like a belief. It's like a religion. You believe that you're seeing these things. Who am I to say no, you're not? You know. So I believe, and it's interesting to hear these stories from people. I hear so many stories of people hearing, you know, seeing things, witnessing things, and it's interesting. I'm like, oh, I'd love to witness that. But then I think, well, I witness certain things on my own terms, you know. So yeah, but we're back to that the most haunted days and then Ghost Adventures. I mean, they started good, but I think it's the networks. I think they want so much from them. You know, it's just like that's when they have to start making things. And it's the same with all these big YouTubers out there as well. The big ones. You know, I mean, there's some good YouTubers like the Ouija Brothers, and then there's the ones that you can. Basically, I saw a thing a few months ago, and it's basically if they're really popular, you got to ask why they're really popular.
Yeah.
And it's not because of their investigation; they're actually probably really shit at investigating. Yeah. it's
because they 9 times out of 10, it's like, in my opinion, Zach Baggins, he doesn't know the arse end of a paranormal investigation, but he looks good. Yeah. He looks good in front of a camera. He looks good.
I think it was Nick. That was the brains behind a lot of it. Ghost Adventures. I think, but obviously they had a falling out, you know. But yeah, like you say, yeah. And the thing is, with these groups now, it's making it harder for us to get the views. I mean, the only reason I set up Paranormal Torch was basically to showcase the locations. It's all about the location.
Yeah, I've seen some of these videos.
It's not about me. I mean, I might be the face on it and that, and I have Jack, Jamie, Stuart, Andrew, if they ever come along. It's the locations and the spirits that are there.
Yeah.
And one of the things I used to do is I used to look after the paranormal events for Coalhouse Fort in Essex.
That's you said in Essex,
yeah.
That's not far from me, I don't think.
Sorry?
That's not that far from me, I don't think.
No, you should know it. Yeah, I mean it's Essex way, so yeah, we're in the area. I mean, but they don't do any more now, unfortunately, at the moment because it's all closed up. Yeah. But over the years I was there, I actually got to experience a lot of different groups coming in, and I saw the different things they did. And do you know what? The showmanship was just atrocious. It was just absolutely terrible. I don't care saying that now. Yeah, I'm quite honest, and the thing is, I'm thinking about doing some videos on this now, so you have an exclusive. The things I saw from these big companies, and especially when things aren't happening, and what they then start to do, they start to keep the people interested.
Yeah.
By doing certain things. Oh, did you see that shadow over there? Well, no, it's pitch black. You can't see a shadow in pitch black.
This is why I've say a good 80% of my work in the field has always been solo, because
yeah, I like solo.
You
I like going solo.
You'll be if you do like a group thing, say 20 people there, you go, right, everyone shush, we're going to do an EVP session. You can guarantee Joe Bob's over there is going to be whispering to someone about, oh, I fancy a cup of tea or something. Then you're going to go back and go, oh, I've called EVP, and it's not.
That's right.
That's why I've always preferred it. Now, when me and Dominic do it, Dominic's not. Dominic's more into not provoking as such, but he'll sit there, and in his head he'll be right. Okay, I want proof. I've come all this way. I want proof, and you give it to me now, sort of thing.
That's
Not,
it. That's how I work. The first thing I'll do is when something happens, I'll instantly assume it's something natural.
Yeah.
Like something's fallen down. It could easily have been something that's been knocked at some point in the last hour or so, and it's just slipped over or whatever. I'll always go for a natural thing first. I won't jump out my skin unless obviously it's loud noise and makes you jump. What did happen once when a load of scaffolding fell down in the pitch black?
Yeah,
that made me jump.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll go for it, and then I'll start to tick off, right, what's gone on here. And it's like I said earlier, there's only a handful of times when we've looked into, well, hang on a minute, what could that be? And also, as you know, you can go to somewhere and nothing happens, shit all happens. But when you get home and you're looking over footage and that, it's then you see stuff happening.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I if you ever come out with me, and I'm a bit of a control freak when it comes to the investigating. I'm sure Jack and all them, they must get fed up with me when they come out, because I'll tell them where cameras to be. I even put, like, I haven't released this yet, but the ramming, I know people have been talking about like contamination from outside, so I even locked a recorder outside to monitor anything going on, and that went literally all night. And it's the brain's what we call the Death Star in the industry. It's the one that would be, I can then go back, right, 10 o'clock, what happened here? Anyone outside? No one outside. Right, where did this voice come from? I'll control everything. And like the video that I released tonight, there was an incident where we heard a cough. Now we had three cameras up running. No, sorry, two main cameras running, the Canons, and then we had multiple wireless mics. And also I use, I don't know if it's not around it, I mean, I use body cams as well now. And what we do
I've actually ordered myself a couple.
Get a body cam. Because what I do is, if I don't always use the body cams, but what I do is, like for this instance, we heard a cough on the main cameras, we heard a cough. So we checked the main cameras, nothing. Check the wireless, no. Then I checked the body cam that my partner Gemma was wearing, and she'd gone like that, so under her thing. She tried to be quiet. She didn't want to. Now, in majority of the situations I've seen on YouTube and Facebook, TikTok, they'd be like, "Oh my God, what was that? What was that cough?"
Well,
that would have been completely.
When we were out on investigation, there's a tendency to be Don farting. So
because I controlled the situation so much there and then in the recording, we was able to write. It was Gemma. That's who caused it. But there's been occurrences as like the marine. Do you know the Marina Theatre, lower stuff?
No.
Okay. Because you're Anglia, aren't you? So you're East Anglia. Where are you?
In Essex. I mean, you're
Essex. Yeah. Okay. It was lower stuff. East Marina Theatre when I filmed there last year. There was one section where we thought, don't think anything happened. We went back down into the downstairs dressing rooms. Didn't think nothing of it. And that particular night, the main camera, the Canon, was actually faulty. We had to go off the Canon, so we used the old full spectrum and some GoPros.
Yeah.
And now, I recommend people start using GoPros, because obviously their sound quality is quite good.
And it's a GoPro I've got coming.
Yeah, it was the GoPro 10, and when I was looking over the footage, I thought nothing happened in this vigil apart from a couple of beeps on a REM pod.
Yeah.
And a Flux 2 as well, I think it was. And then when I was sitting there was this voice appeared, a female's voice. Now we was in a closed, locked theatre, all of us. There's myself, Jack, and Adam from the theatre, and
Mm-hmm.
then it was only Lady Jamie, who I used to do some stuff with,
Yeah.
and she was on camera. She was actually on camera at the time when this female voice come out, and because I had her on camera and the female voice was there, it was like, well, who the hell said that? Because it wasn't us. She's on camera. She's the only one there, and we'd already turned off stuff like the intercom from the stage, so you can hear the stage and stuff. That had already been turned off earlier because it was buzzing. So I've still got the raw footage of that as well. Anything like that, I keep the raw footage.
See, now me personally, I'm not. I try to avoid using apps at all.
Oh, I don't use apps.
Dom likes them because he's had stuff come through. Well, did you watch a video clip of the St Jude that I sent you?
No, I haven't yet. I can watch it now if you want. Is that the one with the poltergeist?
Potentially. Now, there's the Jude has been getting customers and staff for years, seeing and hearing things. We was all behind the bar on the customer side. There was five of us there at the time. I was at the top by the main door with the manager, one of the managers, and Dominic was down the bottom end by the actual bar itself, customer side, with the two other people, and the glass started moving on its own. If you've got your laptop there,
I have got it open,
it's within a few.
Time code it was.
It's almost straight at the very beginning of the video clip. If I'll let you have a look at it.
Yeah, I'll let that play through. Yeah,
it's literally within seconds. Now, straight away, I thought, right, in my head, straight away, I said, did somebody touch it?
Yeah.
But then I looked around. Dominic and the other two were one end, and the manageress was standing right by the side of me. This was swinging quite violently. If you look at the video clip, it's swinging for a hell of a long time. Now, for it to have swung that long, you had to have given it a hell of a knock. If someone had been there, they'd have had to have knocked it quite hard. And as you can see from that clip, that's going for quite a while.
Yeah, was that live?
Yes, I was live streaming at the time. Yeah.
Did you? Was that when you literally just started, or?
No, we'd been there about 2 hours at that point.
Yeah. See, what I would have done in that situation, I would have done a Death Star camera. As soon as you get there, just have one sat somewhere, even if you don't use it. Yeah.
That's why I ordered 2 new ones.
That's what I'm trying to tell people. That I'm thinking, just as long as you got something that's just running literally non-stop all night, you might not even use it. Do you know what I mean? It's just there to use.
I'm not sure. I can't remember if it's in. I can't remember if it's in that clip.
Yeah.
But I got the manager, so I didn't touch it, so nobody could say that I was playing with it. I got the manageress to take the glass off, put it back up, set it till it was still. And then I can't remember if I carried on filming at that point or if it went off elsewhere, but it started again.
And it's not like it's caused from someone walking upstairs, because it's just one glass, isn't it? You think, and it's in the middle of some other glasses as well. So I think if anyone had knocked it, I suppose, you could have. I mean, it's certainly interesting. Yeah, if anyone had knocked, they would have knocked all the glasses.
If you look at the glasses, one I think is on the left is closer than the one on the right. So if it was a draft knocking the one in the middle, the one on the left should catch the draft as well. About half hour after that, there was only the 5 of us there. Me and my teammate Dominic and the 3 staff members. We went out into the smoking area. There was nobody else left in the building, and we heard the sound of chairs being dragged across a concrete floor, like that sort of noise.
Yeah.
We went back in, and 2 chairs, one at one end of the bar, one at the other farthest end of the other bar, had been pulled away from the tables.
Oh, okay.
While I was up, just after we first got there, while the bar was still open, me and Dominic were doing like a little recce of the place and all that. Dominic went to the toilet, and I had a little girl whisper in my ear.
Weird.
So
when
was an interesting night.
Yeah, when that happens, is it more like, it's not like loud, it's like you hear it? You think, did someone just whisper?
Yeah.
Because that's what I found. If you ever hear anything like that, it's like, did you just say something? No. That's what it's like. It's never full on like in your. Oh, some people probably have, but I've never experienced it full on in your ear. But it's like, wait, did you say something? No.
Yeah.
So that's when things are interesting. It's never like you see on TV, is it? It's always like
so
you look and
I
think,
think
why did they do that?
I think a lot of the trouble with the film nowadays is people will watch idiots like Zach Baggins, and they'll go, "Oh, I'm going on a ghost hunt." They'll order crap off of Amazon and all that, like download the newest Ghost Box app and buy 130 quid PSP7, which are all crap.
Oh,
They don't work.
I only spent 29 quid on mine.
I paid 120 for mine and I've
like
never
10
used
years
it.
ago.
I paid
I couldn't believe
120 quid for my PSP7 and I've never used it. I used it once. I saw straight away that it didn't work and I've never used it since.
Well, the thing is, people aren't using the right. When you watch it on TV, it does say Ghost Adventures. It does say a modified PSP7. That's what mine is. I got it. I got it through, and I took it to back then. Matt, my neighbour, who's an electrician guy, and I said, "Do us a favour, remove the aerials from this." And he removed the aerials, both the AM and FM. And we then got back then. You remember the FM transmitters you used to get for like when you go for your car, if you want to stream music from like a
I
CD.
remember that.
Yeah, we tried that, and it had to be within 2 or 3 meters of the PSP7 for it to pick it up. So the only other time it'll be more likely to pick up something is to say your radio station's down the road or something, proper big commercial radio. Yeah, but that's what I've got, and that's why on that SB7 I've got, it never really picks anything up. However, when I did the Hellfire Caves in December, I don't know if you've ever been to the Hellfire Caves, down in the
No, I haven't.
deep underground, under the church where the inner temple is, it picked up a voice.
See,
but where the hell did that
come
from?
I know the PSP7, it goes through all the hundreds of channels, but there's actually 14 channels that guarantee 100% of the time some sort of word will come through.
But where
100%
it's underground and there's no aerial, so yeah, that's what I mean. But I'm not saying it was anything, spiritual or anything. But you are right. You are right. I mean, I would much rather use an SB7 than an app. The reason why is ghosts cannot control apps. Whatever they say out there, even with GhostTube SLS, they can't control them. If I was to ask you now, could you program that phone to tell me the following? Tell me your name.
Trouble I had just getting Facebook Live on, so.
It's not possible, is it? A ghost does not know binary code. A ghost cannot program a phone to say a word. I know they say, it uses all. The only things inside mobile phones is a magnetometer sort of thing. Yeah, that's it. It's sort of to know it's sort of like level and that, and then they can pick up EMF. You can get EMF apps, stuff like that. But other than that, they can't do anything. Oh, apart from the microphone. The only app I do like is EchoVox.
No, I don't, because I know a friend of a friend that helped create that, and they said it's just a random word generator.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Don't use the word generator. So what EchoVox is doing is it takes in the percentages of your phone, it takes in, and then it plays back out what the microphone's playing. And it causes a loop.
Yeah.
So don't use the word generators. They're just an extra thing. Just use the recording only, because it's then physical air recording being used. Just like with the SB7, that's physical white noise frequencies from the air. Whereas an app is just binary code on a phone.
I remember back in the day when I was all fresh and virginal paranormal investigator. Way I used to do it, I used to get a couple of cassettes, put them into a tape recorder, and just use the static from that. And some of them I got were unbelievable.
I still got a tape one. I still got a Sanyo tape dictaphone. Yeah, I use sometimes. Of course, it's getting harder and harder now. Used to get them in Poundland, but now it's getting even harder to get the tapes.
Yeah.
But I mean, although there has been a bit of a resurgence in the last year of cassette tapes, a bit like vinyl, so that might help. But yeah, it's definitely when it comes to apps, pretty much most of them are just they're just entertainment. They're nothing. And the thing is, it's so sad because I see it online. You see the TikTok lives and the YouTube lives, and I look at it as soon as I see an app being used, I'm like, your whole investigation is now being driven by that app. And that's
don't,
why
don't get me wrong, right? I won't say we never use apps.
No, well, you could try, I suppose.
Dominic's a bigger fan of them than I am, but he's always, it's probably nothing anyway. No. But we have had some interesting things.
Well, it's like an angle, I suppose, isn't it? It's an angle.
Yeah, and it looks good on camera. It looks good on camera as well.
But it's just like, but majority of it's going to be.
When we done the St. Jude for the week running up to it, I was talking to the manageress via Facebook and getting a rough idea of sort of things that her or the customers had seen, so I knew what I was prepared for. And one thing that she started mentioning was a lot of customers have said about a cat walking around the bar. Now, there's no pet in there, it is a spirit of a cat. The night me and Dominic went there, we went upstairs into a little private quiet room. Now, normally I would have said, because I'd spoken to her about it and she'd mentioned the word cat via Facebook, it might have come up on the app. But we done the spiritual app via Dominic's phone, and he hadn't talked to her at that point. The night we got there was the first time he'd spoken to her. He put the app on. The first word that came up was cat.
See, do you think the apps could be listening? Because they do say phones are listening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Because I'd spoken to the manageress on my phone. We'd done that app on Dominic's phone.
What do you think about the Ovilus? Like the actual individual Ovilus, not the apps. The actual.
I've never used one.
Okay, I've used the Ovilus 3. Now the Ovilus 3, you can't program it. It's one they released where it literally was, I believe, there's no USB ports or anything. It literally had everything, and that was it. No updates to be done. And there was an incident once at Coalhouse Fort where an Ovilus was being used, and one of the companies that was there was having this thing. It was saying like triangle, Jowl, Adam or something like that. It kept saying these 3 words, and I went down to the second video. Normally we don't go into the vigils, the staff of Coalhouse Hall, but I thought I'll go. They said come down, so I went in and sat in, and it kept saying these triangle, Jowl, Adam, and the guy sat and he said, "Why is it doing that again? Is it broke or something?" And I don't know, like 2 of the guys from the group that was leading the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, and it was something like that conversation was had, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, this girl said, "Well, my name's like Jessica or something, and my boyfriend's Adam." And then it was like, "Oh," and then it's like, "Wait, where was?" And I said, "Do you mind me butting in? Where was you before in the last vigil?" And she said, "Upstairs near the big spotlight thing." "Oh, what, in the prison?" And I said, "Did you use the Ouija board up there?" She said, "Yeah." And that was that company. They had like a triangle sort of weird shaped planchette, and it was like and it was weird because it was actually triangle, Jowl, Adam. It was like it kept saying that was really weird, and even now it sends chills down to me. But that was a win.
Now with me, because the way my brain works, I'll go, "That does seem like that's paranormal,"
but there's still buts, isn't there? Yeah.
How common is the name Adam?
Yeah, and secondly, also with the Ovilus, again, it's binary, and it's all binary code. It's just all being a program on a little device. Yeah. And the thing is, the lady actually contacted me at Coalhouse Fort about a week later and said they were baffled by that night. It freaked them out a bit. And I said, "Well, did you give them the name? Or they must have, if someone's programmed it, if it was an Ovilus where, I think it was the Ovilus 3, but if it was a different Ovilus, they might be able to program it." Not saying they would do that, but you don't know what people do out there now. There's so many groups and stuff going on. Well, anyway, she said, "Well, no, I just put down a +1." and that's where that was left. I always remember that. That's one of those bizarre moments. Not saying it's anything, you know, but it was just bizarre.
Have you ever done Pottsford Gibbet?
No, I know of it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know of it.
Now, going on to the apps, there's you may or may not know him, a guy called Javier Sands. He runs Spain Paranormal.
Mm.
Excuse me. His apps, as they're all built, like most of them are, the words are put on in reverse. The way he does them, he puts them on in reverse, but they're Spanish words. Now, about 7 years ago, I think it was about the third time I'd ever done Pottsford, and now at this point I've done Pottsford about 40 times. This is about the third or fourth time I've been down there. I had the BIPS BCN. He'd asked me to test run it for him. I hope he's all right actually, because I haven't spoken to him for years since his mum got ill. So this app is in reverse and it's all in Spanish. Now, Pottsford Gibbet, the story, do you know the story of Pottsford Gibbet?
Vaguely. I watched,
Snell.
do you know Shadow Paranormal? I watched their thing, so you'll have to remind me.
Right, Jonah Snell, basically, he was found walking up Dragass Hill, covered in blood with an axe, and he was tried and executed for murdering John Bullard and John Bullard Jr. And then his body was left to where the gibbet is for 41 years. His remains were left there, and allegedly he's possibly buried somewhere in the woods. Okay. Now, me and somebody that I went down there with, somebody I don't talk to because he turned out to be quite a nasty person, a so-called medium. We'd gone down there and we was using this new app that Javier had asked me to test run. Now, as I said, it was in Spanish, but it was all in reverse Spanish. We tried this app, and there's a spirit of a little girl there called Mary, and she loves interacting with mediums, or like with investigators in general, actually. Just if you're down there investigating, she loves it, and you can often hear her dress swishing as she's running past you, and she'll touch you, and you can feel her hold your hand and things. Now, this app, like I said, this app is all in reverse Spanish. We had the name Mary come through in English. We asked who was put there, whose body was put there. We had the word Jonah come through. We had who did Jonah murder, and it said John Bullard. And we said where was he murdered, and the word Leverington came through.
Leverington.
Where's that? Leverington. It's just outside of Wickham Market, and Leverington Mill is where Jonah killed John Bullard and his son.
Oh, that's interesting.
Allegedly killed him.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Now, the whole app is in reverse Spanish.
Yeah.
To this day, I still don't fully understand. I'm on the fence about apps. I still don't understand how they came through.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You see, I'm on the fence, leaning towards the a lot of it's random. But when you say stuff like that, that's when you like start leaning. Oh, hang on a minute.
I'll have to find it because I've actually got it on video on one of my old YouTube channels, and I've got the actual incident on camera.
I might have to go there.
Possibly. I went down when I lived in Leiston for a little while.
Yeah.
Before I moved here because of arthritis. I was friendly with the neighbours, and they were interested in that sort of thing. They'd never really done it, so you drive, I'll take you a few places. Was down there, me, Gavin and Bronwyn, was down Pottsford Gibbet, and when we checked back after, we had an EVP say, a mail saying to Gavin, "We finally found you." And that night we was down there, his wife started feeling a bit funny and saying she's having problems breathing. We put lights on because we thought something was wrong. We put lights on. She actually had fingerprints around her throat. And you can actually see the finger indentations on her throat.
That's weird, isn't it?
So,
it's these experiences, isn't it, that all add up. Yeah. And that's what I mean. They're proper experiences, and it's not like when you see on a lot of these big channels when they go in places and within 40 minutes of being there, they've had like everything that you've probably had in your lifetime.
Yeah. It's like Zach Baggins and Most Haunted. 99.999% of the time, they'll go somewhere and something can happen. And you know from 21 years experience, 9 times out of 10, you're sitting there, you're hungry, you're bored, you're tired, you're dying to go to the toilet.
Yeah,
and
freezing. That's right. I mean, that one of the things with Most Haunted, I remember when they first started, they said about, if nothing happens, you'll see nothing.
Yeah.
Remember that? And that was like, oh, hang on, this might be quite good then. I think if people stick to that, you know, it's like with me, half of the videos that go up, people probably think it's boring, nothing much happened. Well, exactly. You still get to experience the location, but nothing happened.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I now do a scoring system. I thought, you know what, no one does this. So that's why when I do the locations, I talk to anyone who's been with me and say, right, out of 5, how creepy would you say the place was? Out of 5, how and then like anything like a museum would instantly be a 5 out of 5 for history because it's full of history.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like paranormal activity, we look at what happened on the night and then look what's been caught on camera and any of the evidence, potential evidence. And that's when we, I mean, sometimes you walk away and it's just 2 out of 5 because you might have like an weird EVP and that's it. But then even the EVPs might, you know, even after I've released the videos, I'm still thinking, you know, don't know, you know, maybe I'm always on that, you know, always going to be like that. But when I watch these videos and you see people go in and they're like standing there with the DR60s and you're like, oh my God, they're getting all this thing come through and that. And you're like, no, you're not.
I will
misinterpreting what you...
I know quite a few people within paranormal teams, obviously been doing it for so long, and a lot of them stream on Facebook or on YouTube or wherever. I've found that I've noticed somebody will be live streaming their investigation. They'll have a K2 heel go, oh look, I'm getting activity from spirit.
I had an argument with someone the other day. I said, to be honest, I don't see live streaming as real investigations. The reason why I say, and I got in a bit of, well, I didn't get an argument, I got a bit attacked. I said, no, you're not getting what I'm saying. When you're live streaming, your stream is interfering with all your equipment. And secondly, the amount of times when you sit there, thanks for the sub, thanks for the follow, like the live guys, and you just you're concentrating more on the people watching than what you're investigating.
Yeah.
So that's why I say they're not really real. You know, maybe if you had one person there designed for that sort of thing, but then the rest.
I must admit, when we do lives, I do have a tendency. I must admit, when we do lives, I do have a tendency to forget to see if anyone's asked a question. I just basically stream it and get on with what I'm doing.
No, I mean, the thing is, that's it. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to. I mean, I've done it once or twice in the past where we've sat and had a chat or something. When I first started Paranormal Talk Show, it was on the back end of lockdown, and I was with Gary back then. He was doing his own channel, and it was fun. I do miss Gary. I've not seen him for a while, but he's a bit ill. So, all I could hear when I was walking around the graveyard in the distance is like, "Thanks for the follow." Like and subscribe.
Yeah. But no, and there's I won't mention their name, but there's I wouldn't say they was well known, but they are known paranormal team in Ipswich, and they've done God, where was it? I can't think of the name of the place, but it was a pub, and they showed an image on their group that, no word of a lie, you could clearly see it was a mannequin head. Yet they reckoned it was a ghost standing behind a window.
So you're thinking pareidolia or something?
No, they literally put a mannequin head behind a frosted window and said, "We've caught the image of a ghost." There was a group, and I will name and shame this one. I don't know, actually, in fairness, I don't know if it is going anymore, but they claim to be affiliated with TAPS. You know,
right?
Jason Hawes and all that.
There used to be a thing, didn't there, where you could join them?
Yeah.
TAPS.
Well, this group claimed to be affiliated to them. Yeah. At the time, I weren't friendly, but I was on like a hi, how are you level with Jason Hawes. So this was a long time ago. This group they kept posting. I don't know if you remember. There was a phase where you could use the ghost apps, where you take a picture of something and then you could superimpose a ghost onto it.
Oh, yeah. They still pop up occasionally.
Images that went on there, right? I took the picture. I went into the metadata, and I showed that like Photoshop or something like that had been used. I printed the metadata up on the screen, and even took an image of the actual ghost app and the actual images that they'd used in it on the site, and I was cussed out like anything. There was one woman on there, she went, I was on that investigation, I know nothing was there, and I know for a fact she faked that image. She was threatened with gang rape.
Oh, I don't know. Well, you know, when I watch that, this live, don't get thingy with that. Yeah, certain words in it. Yeah. Sorry, Facebook. It's educational.
That's more
yeah.
YouTube's a bit funny about that. But yeah, that's how petty some people can be.
I understand. Yeah, I know what you mean. I actually, there was I don't know if it's the same people, but I think it was a Suffolk Paranormal. Do you remember Suffolk Paranormal? I remember going on one of their things once when we went to, is it Walnut Tree Hospital in Ipswich?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, when the walls are closed, and I think they were going to turn into houses. I remember going in there once. We was walking around, and I was like, "Where's the piano?" And then the next minute, one of them said, "Well, funny enough, around here." I'm like, "How the hell did I know that?"
See,
and I say I'm as psychic as a brick.
That's what I get. I've seen things all my life since a child, and I get things, and if I get a gut sensation, I'll go with it 100% of the time, because it's very rarely wrong. But I wouldn't have said, if anyone said, "Oh, why, you're a medium then?" No.
I'm an extra large.
Yeah, I am actually. No, actually, since I was in hospital, I've actually lost 4 pounds this week. So
that's good going, yeah. That's good.
But no, I do. I say no, I'm not. It's just occasionally things come through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said I was a medium.
It's like people said to me, like Andrew and in the past who I've done stuff with. They said, "Yeah, you probably are psychic," because it was like, you know, you've had little moments when you've like premonitions and stuff like that I've had, and things have suddenly happened and that. But who knows? Do you know what though? Saying that, when I say
they do say everybody's got the ability, you just need to know how to use it.
So I mean, you know, like even Stephen Hawkins used to say stuff like, you know, like with parallel universes and Einstein, like, you know, time travel is possible. It's just we don't have the way to do it. And there's parallel universes and stuff like that. Just because it's paranormal doesn't mean it's a ghost. It could be something like a time slip or something.
That is I have noticed over in America. You're all right.
Sorry.
Over in America, I don't know
Yeah.
why, but over in America now, over the last couple of years, it seems to be either anything that's a UFO or a grey alien or anything like that, they've come from hell and they have to be demons.
Yeah. So with the UFO, I've got UFO coming to the channel actually, UFO stuff, because last year I went to Awakenings in Manchester, and did some filming. I actually got to interview a few people, including Barry Fitzgerald, Ghost Hunters.
He's gone. I'm sorry to say it, but he's gone really strange.
Yeah, he's into his
fairies and things.
Cryptic creatures and all that. Yeah.
I've got to admit, I had big love for the bloke. You know, he's done a lot. He's done a lot for the field, bring it out to the public and all that.
Yeah.
And I will admit, back then I did used to watch Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International.
They used to be good, didn't they? They used to be the ones that were, you know, they'll debunk it and stuff. And but again, it's like it's a case of it's just like
I saw one of Barry's videos on YouTube. It was either last year or the year before, and he was talking about how he believed in unicorns and things. And I thought, no, this is just getting a bit too much now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's just like with just going back to the subject of like the paranormal. See, this is another thing when people say, "Oh yeah, we're bringing the paranormal back to our channels and stuff like that." Well, hang on a minute. The paranormal doesn't just cover ghosts. It's anything that's not normal.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
UFOs, spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah,
Hence, the X-Files taught me a lot. But it's just like, so when something happens on an investigation, don't instantly think as well, after you've got rid of, debunked everything else, it's still a ghost. It could be a time slip, or it could be something. So I'm saying,
there are
yeah,
really famous time slip stories, aren't there?
yeah, there's
Especially around the
streets and
Suffolk
stuff, isn't there?
area.
Yeah, yeah, stories of people coming out of a shop and looking at the shops have all changed and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And scientists do say that things could, because our universe is so, it's weird.
yeah,
It's just full of mysteries. Who knows?
it
And
is.
especially like all the CERN stuff and that. What they're learning a lot over at the Collider in is it Geneva, where it is, Sweden? No, where is it? Yeah, CERN.
Concerned. Yeah,
There's actually
yeah.
a theory going around at the moment, isn't there? That back in when they turned that on back in the late, what was it, 2004, 5, no, 7 or something, that we all slipped into a different dimension or something. Because have you heard of the Mandela effect?
Yeah, I don't believe in the Mandela. It's just simply that people misremembering stuff.
It's weird, though, isn't it? Yeah, it's just like no, there is certain things though you think, well, I mean, yeah, I thought that, but
Yeah.
who knows? Again, it's a mystery, isn't it? It's all these weird things.
I think the first inclinations of like the Mandela effect I had, I was flicking through YouTube. I think I was flicking through YouTube or Facebook, one of the groups anyway. And somebody was saying about a Prince song and how it was. Oh, I remember the Prince song. I think it was "Let's Go Crazy," for instance. The lyrics go like this, but then they played it and it goes, "That don't sound like that." So it's a Mandela effect. But if anybody actually uses their brain and actually knows what they're talking about, Prince would go and do a song live on stage. The next show he done the following day, he'd do the same song, but he'd change the words slightly anyway.
Right, yeah. There is a famous song out there, isn't there? People didn't like. They thought it ended. Is it one of the Queen songs? They thought it ended in a certain way, but it actually doesn't. Again, that's a Mandela effect sort of thing. And,
yeah. But it's like cartoon names and that get changed, or serial. They get changed over the years. I mean, people just.
Yeah.
I can't remember the box of cereal. I can vaguely remember eating a box of cereal when I was 4. If you show me the box, I wouldn't know it was the same one.
When I went to Awakenings, though, I learned a lot of different things. It was very interesting. I stayed quite grounded because I found some people were like, it was like there's certain. I'm not going to mention names because they're very big people, and I don't want to get you guys,
No, that's perfect.
Yeah, but it almost felt like a preaching.
Yeah.
And this is meant to be a convention, with discussions and stuff like that, and it just felt like it was preaching to you and that, to believe in their narrative. And so, but those videos are due out soon. I've still got to finish, and I actually managed to meet a few paranormal groups when I was there as well, and they completely agreed. And well, actually, some of them said it before I even said it.
Yeah.
And that. So I've got a few. Yeah. So if anyone's watching this, their channel videos are on their way, but it's just because that's what I want to do, like what you've done here, talk to other paranormal groups and just chat. In fact, it'd be nice to do like a big thing, really, where we all I could do that here actually, where we
I've been wanting to do that for a long time, but no one I know is brave enough to do it. In fairness, when I go on investigation, I always hide behind the camera, leave Dominic in front of it.
Well, when you talk to people, I mean, it's like there's also this different level of investigators now, isn't there? Like I said earlier, you've got your Sam and Colby's and all them, and the Twin Paranormal. They're all like the entertainers ones. They're not. I don't class them as real. But then I think people like the Ouija brothers are doing well because they're doing very well because they try to keep it as normal as possible, aren't they? But they're growing, and then you come small, and then you've got all us. It's just we're the peasants.
Do you know what? Yes, it would have been nice to have all the old readies that people like Zach Baggins and that get, and they'll pay me bills. But I ain't in it for that. I've had 3 children. I've had 3 children die, and I want proof that when especially after like having the mild heart attack last week. Actually, I'm getting a bit tight chested now, but I want to know that when I go, my kids are going to be waiting there for me. That's
I
why
understand that. I understand
things
that,
like
mate.
that. That's why I want to do it.
My fear is people say, "Oh, you fear death." I don't fear death. I fear nothing.
Mm.
I fear that it's blank, not live, nothing anymore. And the thing is that I'm out there. Like I said earlier, when we first started this conversation earlier, I said I'm out there to showcase the locations and the spirits supposedly with them.
Mm.
The showmanship. I don't like to do. I know I talk on camera and stuff like that, but you know, I've done it for so long now over the years. There's people in this industry that are just doing it for fame.
Oh yeah,
And
plain and simple. Yeah,
they're the problem because they're just doing it for fame, and they're making up, or they're interpreting. Yeah, I'm trying to be careful here. They're interpreting their results from their supposed investigations wrong,
yeah,
and they're making you believe in their
yeah,
narrative. When I'm trying that, and put yourself as well, and lots of other people were out there trying to showcase potential real evidence that there is something, and we
yeah,
don't get seen because it's the evidence isn't as good as, like, you know, pots and
mm.
pans flying across the room and
Yeah. I was funny
what.
enough. I was actually going to say that
Mm,
because you get things like don't get me wrong, me, Gavin and Bronwyn, and congratulations to them as well. Because they just found out that they're pregnant and going to have a baby.
no,
So
no,
congratulations, lovely couple. But yeah, we've done Cove Hive up
yeah,
in
I know.
Southwark.
Yeah,
There's not. I've looked online. There's very few people have ever investigated there. I think when I looked, the last investigation that had been put on YouTube was like 12 years ago. When we was down there, Bronwyn, there's a little bit of wall that had been knocked down, and Bronwyn was like, had her arms on there like that. She was talking to me, and her arms got pinned down. And as I was walking to go back to the car, something punched me in the kidney, and I had a bruise on my kidney the
yeah.
following day. So things, but because my battery's dying, but because people
You need to
like
plug
Zach
in.
Baggins
Do
and
you want to
that,
plug in? Do you want to
my
plug in?
yeah, hold on 2 seconds. I'm thinking my charger will reach. How we get?
do, 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 do.
Oh, breaking cat's going in front of come on. You'll leave me alone now.
All right.